the light switch. When I was in high school, I was in this Jewish youth group called United Synagogue Youth, or USY. And every year, they'd have this statewide week-long program called encampment. Encampment. To this day, I still don't understand how Jewish parents could send their kids to a program with that name. I mean, really, they might as well have sent us on a filthy, crowded train and called it Auschwitz. The year I went, we had a carnival. There were a bunch of booths, including horse races, where you take the water gun and you fill a water balloon to make the horses move, or the goldfish toss, where you toss a goldfish into a little goldfish bowl, and if you get it in, you win a prize. It was the booths you would see anywhere at any carnival in America. But the people attending this carnival were different from the families you'd see at any other carnival. You see, everyone who came to this carnival was developmentally disabled. I didn't get to man a booth. Instead, I got to escort a woman named Anna. Now, I'll never forget her short brown hair and her asymmetrical mouth, because she used that mouth to scream and cry at me the entire time we were together. It went something like this. Hey, Anna, want to do the horse races? Anna, how about a walk around the lake? Want a hot dog? It was like being with an infant you can't stop crying the entire night. To this day, I still don't understand what was going on in her head. But I did learn something really interesting about developmentally disabled people. You see, you could take Anna into a room, show her how to turn the light switch on, and she'd understand for the rest of her life. But if you took her into a second room, you'd have to show her where the light switch was and how to turn it on again. The same thing was true with the third room, the fourth room, the fifth room, the sixth room, and on and on and on. She just couldn't generalize from her experience. Of course, she's not the only one. I can't generalize either. Not with physical light switches, but with metaphorical ones. And not major areas, just relationship, career, money, health, and sex. And if you don't believe me, ask my ex-wife. There was this one time when we first got together where we went to a movie. And it was nighttime when we got back to my little Ford Escort. And she says, honey, can you turn the heat on, please? I'm cold. Well, I was warm and comfortable, so I decided to play a little harmless trick on her. I turned on the air conditioner. When the cold air hit her hands and her knees, she let out a yell. What the hell are you doing? You're cold? How could you be cold when I'm so warm and comfortable? That was the first time I turned a light switch on in the world's largest mansion, which is located at 101 People Really Can Have a Different Experience from Mahesh Lane. It's rather large. I mean, picture the Playboy Mansion, cross it with the Vatican, now multiply by 400. Yeah, you get the picture. And each room has a different name, which I usually don't discover until I'm standing right in front of it. There are the little rooms, which have little signs like, how can you not like cilantro? Or, you really think Madonna can sing? Or the ever popular, why would you pierce yourself there? Yeah, I can hear a few of you have that room too. Then there are the medium rooms, which are the places I have somewhat larger judgments. And they have appropriately medium-sized signs like, you really believe that crap in The Secret? Or, Or you're a born-again what? Or the amazingly romantic, okay, I can handle the pink feather boa, but the porcupine is out. I've had to turn on a lot of light switches about other people's sexual proclivities. It's funny, because we're all human. I mean, we all get horny. We all have fantasies that veer from a man and a woman in missionary position. Well, maybe not Sarah Palin, or the woman from Delaware, or Glenn Beck. But the rest of us, I mean, with food, it's no big deal. I mean, if you like the little green olives on the frilly blue toothpicks, and I find them disgusting, which I do, no big deal. But if you like green olives on frilly toothpicks and shove them who knows where during sex, and I find that disgusting, well, that's a porcupine of a different color. The funny thing is, it's all biological. So much of this stuff is biological. For example, did you know that 43% of men have sensitive nipples and 57% don't have sensitive nipples? It's true. I read it in Cosmo. Yes, Cosmo. You can read Playboy and Penthouse and Esquire and find out everything you want to know about women. But if you want to know what other men think in that area, well, let me put it this way. I was in a men's group for 3.5 years, and I didn't learn half as much as I learned in the big, red Valentine's Day issue of Cosmopolitan. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I also like the Astrology for Lovers issue in December, too. And if any of you ladies are a Virgo or a Taurus or a Scorpio, come see me during the intermission. Heck, any sign. I'm only half kidding. But back to nipples. If you take a guy and he's one of the 43% who has sensitive nipples, he's going to think every other guy is just like him. And if you take another guy and he's one of the 57% who doesn't feel anything up here, he's going to think everybody else is like him. Not that it matters, unless they're hooking up. But still. I mean, if we can't relate to each other's nipples, how are we going to understand the more complicated parts? Or the parts we don't have. Then there's psychology. At 101, people really can have a different experience from Mahesh Lane. There's an entire wing the size of a city block dedicated just to that subject. The number of psychological differences people can have from one another makes infinity seem like a number you can count on one hand. And then there's karma. Yeah, with a name like Mahesh, you know I'm going to bring that up at some point. And if you're confused, Mahesh is Sanskrit from India, not Hebrew. That would be Moishe. Karma, the law of karma says that we come in with certain tendencies, and there are certain experiences we're meant to have, no matter how stupid we have to be temporarily in order to have them. And some people, like Clarence Darrow and St. Augustine, believe everything is predetermined. All I can tell you is this: between biology, psychology, and karma, you really can't understand anyone else's experiences, no matter how much you know and love them. And vice versa. no one else is ever going to really understand you. You can walk a mile in someone else's shoes, but you can't actually do it with their feet. There are only 3 things you can know about anyone else. Number 1, everybody's seeking pleasure, no matter what it is. Number 2, everybody is avoiding pain, no matter what that is. And number 3, everybody's working with the same basic palette of emotions: gladness, sadness, madness, fear, and shame. Other than that, we're just sitting in the dark. You can't turn a light switch on in someone else's little cottage. All you can do is look for the light switches in your own mega mansion, room by room, and flick them on.